Go.
I'd like to call this meeting to order, a special meeting of the Village Board on Monday, January 22nd, after 7 p.m. in the Germantown Village Hall Boardroom, and also can be accessed via WebEx. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with sections 19.83 and 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. Roll call shows all village board members present except for trustee Kaminsky, who at this time may be joining us, or is she not? Is she joined us via WebEx? And perhaps she may be joining us later. We have a couple things on tonight's agenda. First item of new business is the interim market update. For that, we'll bring forward our financial director, Matthew Uselli. Matthew.
Thank you. In your packet is a contract with ACC regarding an interim market update. You recall the last several years, this had been kind of on the parking lot items for the budgets regarding the assessed values within the village of Germantown. The 2024 fiscal year will be the third year we're out of compliance with state statutes regarding the overall level of assessed value. The 2023 excuse me, assessed value was 77%. Meaning that assessed values are roughly 23% lower than the sale of current houses. So in order to get back in compliance with Wisconsin state statutes, our assessor is recommending an interim market update to bring us back within that 20%.
Trustee Hudson.
When's the last time we did this, Matthew, please?
There was a full reevaluation in 2019.
2019. Thank you.
Trustee Nyrider.
Matthew, if we did a market update, how long would we be? And I know it's probably hard to predict, but can they give us any idea till we'd be at, would the next step again be then a full assessment in 5 years, 10 years, or is that hard to predict?
You know, you
Mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I may just interrupt. I've been doing this a couple more years,
Mhm.
and I've seen some of the cycles. Ideally, what I think would be most beneficial for the community is to be doing either to do a full evaluation like every 5 years, and then in between that time period to do a market update. I think staying on that cycle, you see smaller changes. If for those of you who were trustees back in 2019, it had been a long period of time since we had done a reevaluation before then, and that causes people see bigger swings, and the bigger swings generates the complaints and the phone calls. So the more frequently we do something, I think the easier it is on the residents. They see less fluctuation and there's fewer surprises.
So the reval is the only way of catching permit violators, so to speak, correct? This will not do that because there's not an actual physical inspection of the home.
Correct. So I would suggest we really need to do this, and then probably another 2 to 3 years, we should do a full revaluation.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Pieper.
So there's a full evaluation done every 5 years, right? Or we try for that, to have a full evaluation done every 5 years.
I would recommend that.
Yeah.
That hasn't been the past practice.
So what is the difference between a full evaluation and this interim market update? So what do they just pick random houses to assess, or how does that work?
In a full reevaluation, they're doing actual inspections. So back in 2019, it was a much more costly project, and they actually went and inspected the interiors of homes. They did drive-bys on the exteriors of home. This is data driven. This is just looking more specifically at sales data and what the market has been, and then applying that to the assessed values.
Trustee Peeper, and at the bottom of the packet item, he breaks it down, the difference between a full reevaluation, interim market update, and exterior evaluation, based on is there a land study involved, is real property affected, and he breaks it down that way.
So why did I receive, one of those little flags or pieces of paper hanging on my doorknob by an assessor's office just this week?
They were here doing work this week as part of their regular contract.
So what do they do for the regular contract on like a weekly basis?
Pull up, excuse me.
And they were here,
I understand I'm a bit mouthy, but like now you're gonna have my house assessed too? Like what?
no, they do every year, they do some
Every year.
updates. They come through every year and do some updates, and that's part of their annual contract and the annual budget, that's approved in the annual budget. But that is limited, that is based on random samples.
Done.
Yeah, and it does not include an inspection. I'm not sure what your door hanger said. They might have done some looking at the exterior of your home or looking from that perspective. We did put a notification out 2 weeks ago, letting people know that our assessor would be out and driving around, taking pictures, doing things like that. We put that.
So they do that on a regular basis, even though we haven't approved this?
That's part of their annual contract.
Okay,
This is more extensive.
okay.
But it does not go as far as the full revaluation where they're going through and, inspecting. I'm not sure if it's every house, but large numbers of houses, inside and outside.
And what do you think is the percentage of homes that are going to be reassessed for the interim?
Well, this would affect the assessment of all homes. And it would, most homeowners would see changes. Now, it's difficult to predict exactly what that would look like, and
Changes meaning taxes go up.
well, some would go up and some would go down. It doesn't, reassessments do not change the total amount of taxes collected. It changes how those taxes are distributed.
Gotcha.
Okay, so some properties, probably all properties are gonna go up, but some are gonna go up more than others. The value of the properties are gonna go up, but some properties are gonna go up more than others. So what that will mean is our tax rate
Yes.
will drop. Our tax rate will drop, and some property owners will pay more, some property owners will pay less.
I make a motion to approve new business item A.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion on the motion to approve. Trustee Jan Miller.
Matt or Steve,
Mhm.
I noticed in the packet that there's a questionnaire. So does that mean that the assessor sends the questionnaire to everybody in the village of Germantown? And they have to fill it out, or is that what they're filling out?
It likely wouldn't be everybody, but residents would receive questionnaires from the assessor regarding their property.
So.
Some.
Some.
Mhm.
Some.
Mhm.
So this was brought, their regular contract, didn't that come before the board in October?
No, an interim market update. This was brought before the board at the end of 2023. Their original contract was, I believe, a 4 or 5 year contract, and it was approved before I started at the village.
Oh. 'Cause
Motion is to,
it's
oh,
dated from October 23.
for them to,
There's a date
Yep,
on,
this is when he had sent me the original quote, correct?
so why didn't it come to the board before this? Now you're asking for the funds out of ARPA?
Correct, and this was discussed during the 2024 budget,
Yeah.
but it wasn't approved at that time.
good point.
Okay,
So it's
and then
contract, but
we also
including additional
requested, if I remember correctly,
ask him to do this
an
now.
update on the ARPA funding, a balance sheet. Well, we have to pay for it out of ARPA funds. That's what it's requesting.
Correct, at the last GGF meeting, I did provide an update on the ARPA fund.
But we wanted it into a balance sheet portion, format.
Ballot sheet?
balance sheet. Because
I
we,
can certainly provide that.
so that'll be coming up,
Well, that would be probably at the next GGF meeting, if that's where you asked for it.
right? And then, so what is the balance of the ARPA fund currently?
Yeah, just shy of $650,000.
About ballpark?
Correct.
Okay.
Further discussion, trustee Peeper.
Real quick question. Property record questionnaire. So this is supposed to be filled out by some of the homeowners. It, whoever specifically receives it, correct?
Correct.
And by law, do they have to fill this out?
No, they're not required. They're not required to fill it out. We hope.
And they're not required to enter your home? No, they're not. I could tell you that.
You do not, but then they have to estimate.
Sure.
And so we try to tell folks, it's typically to their benefit to allow the assessor to enter the home and review it.
But legally, they do not have to let them in their house.
The people in, they do not have to, the folks do not have to legally respond to the questionnaire. But typically enough people do and provide that information that we're able to get some good analysis and good numbers.
I just wanted that fact to be known. Thank you.
Further discussion,
Seconded, please.
trustee Hudson.
Made by Jolene Peeper. Thank you.
No further discussion? And what is the value that we're taking from ARPA funds? So we say it out loud. Thank you. No further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Warren, trustee Nyrider,
Aye.
trustee Baum,
Aye.
trustee Jan Miller,
Aye.
trustee Phil Hudson,
Aye.
trustee Jolene Peeper, trustee Rick Miller,
Aye.
President Walter.
Aye. Motion passes. Next item under new business. Thank you, Matthew. Next item under new business is item B, Administrator 2023 Performance Goals Update. The village board may enter into closed session per Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 subsection 1, subparagraph C for considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and then may reconvene into open session to take such action as it deems appropriate.
Motion to go into closed session for new business item B.
Motion made by Jolene Peeper, second by trustee Ball. Any discussion on the motion for closed session? No discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Jolene Peeper, trustee Warren, trustee Nyrider,
Aye.
trustee Baum, trustee Jan Miller, trustee Phil Hudson,
Aye.
trustee Rick Miller.
Aye.
Village President Walter.
Aye. And that would not include the village clerk. You may be excused. All right, couple of minutes to button things up. Turn off your microphones, please.